Here we are sitting next to Philip Toppino, the founder, CEO of W.O.F.T, West Orlando Firearms Training. Philip, thanks for welcoming us, bro.
Thank you.
It's been amazing, man.
Thanks for having us, man. Pleasure.
So, I was skeptical about the low light stuff. We did some low light stuff. I was skeptical about it because, Philip, when you first sent me the video, I'm like, okay, I get this, but I don't know how realistic this is going to be. My mind completely changed, John, because, bro, you know, we talk all the time and I lose you in the garage. I'm always going in a freaking garage. So I'm bringing this up, Philip, to just simply get straight to the point. Why and how in the heck did you come up with this? Because this is different from anything else we've done.
Right.
Low light training, it's what's more likely to happen. Bad things happen statistically, either early in the morning or late at night. And a flashlight is something that you can carry on an airplane with you. So that's one of those things where it's something I don't have to worry about muzzling you. It's something I can have on me all the time. And it can be used as a up-close tool. And it learns how to interrupt the way someone thinks via OODA loop. So it's something that, an organic curriculum that we came up with that anyone can use at any age.
Yeah, listen, I thought starting with the low light would be a bit much, right? I really did. I thought I was like, wow, we're just going right into low light, seriously? But when I think about what this place is supposed to do, it's supposed to expose you to a real world scenario that you're really not expecting. And it's supposed to show you all the different approaches you can take, the de-escalation tactics and your own school of thought when you're going through the motions, right? And I found myself really locked in, like tuned in, especially, you know, I'm watching him go through it and my heart's racing for him because I don't know what's gonna happen. And so then when I find myself going through it, it's the same thing. And I'm, you know, what I was most impressed with by the entire scenarios were how you scaled it, how you stated that you were learning the participants as they go through. I've never really heard an instructor say that, and I've never seen it executed, I mean, ever, but it was executed flawlessly, and it made all the difference in the world as to how it impacted the way that we perceived and understood what we were doing.
No, I agree. So in saying that, again, why did you decide to do it this way? Like I was saying behind the scenes, we've done some stuff, more sort of combat stuff, and it's fun, you know, it's dynamic, but how often will you really use, I mean, some of it, absolutely, but how often is that an everyday thing? Unless you're special forces, it's not an everyday thing.
Right.
So why the difference? Like, why did you say, I want to go in a different direction?
I want to be my family's own first responder. I wanted something that was customized to someone who didn't have a military or law enforcement background, something that my wife, my kids, everyone wants to learn safety. So we developed an organic curriculum that I took kind of pieces from where I trained around the country, and we came up with something that starts first gear for first gear, teaching someone how to avoid what's more likely to happen, which is nothing but how to avoid confrontation, how to detect and de-escalate potentially violent situations in transitional spaces with non-lethal options first. And then backing into, if you have a firearm, you know, everyone wants safety. So if you have a firearm, that should be your option of last resort, but it's the most important thing that if you need it, like a parachute, if you need it, you better have it, but with regards to insurance and things like that, nowadays, we have to be very careful. With all that power comes a lot of responsibility.
You know, it's funny because I feel like the success of this program is grounded in its intent.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, you know, Philip has his entire your family's here. You know, your grandmother's helping facilitate. I mean, sorry, your mother's helping facilitate. Your wife is helping facilitate and participating.
The boys, I mean, saw them.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's such an inclusive environment. Like from the moment we set foot on these grounds, there was no intimidation factor. It literally felt like we were pulling up to Disneyland. Like, think about it. You know, we saw a big moon bounce slide.
Right.
Mr. Michael's dying to go on, by the way. You know, we see this beautiful property, and the facility is just amazing. You know, like let's talk about how amazing this facility is. I mean, the modularity of each individual building,
multiple things
in and
all
of
at the same
itself,
time,
is a marvel, right? I mean, you're not wasting a square foot, because every single building that I've been in could be a multi-use facility. Let's talk about it.
I wanted to create something I could not find around the country. I wanted a place that I could bring my family And for me, if I'm going to spend my time to do something, I want to do the best that I can possibly afford. I want to spend the most of my time doing something I can afford. And so traveling the country, I kind of put together pieces here of what I took the best of what I experienced when I traveled the country. And backing into family, everything's about family. So we're a private facility, and we don't let everyone come here. And it was the first and second World Fight Club for many years because, it's something that we can't scale this because of the quality and the customization that we do in the training. So it's something that it was invite only, and now we're looking to open up for more quality Americans and influencers, and we're looking for legislators, that a safe place that you can come, that's comfortable, and it's nice that you want to bring your better half.
And so Phil, thinking about what you just said, specifically the part about legislators, because right now there's a lot of arguments across the country about the Second Amendment. Various states are starting to adopt constitutional carry out of fear of what's happening in Washington with the new administration. And I know you and me have spoken about this so many times about trying to get legislators, not just people on our side though, but also those who are saying, no, we got to take the guns away. Explain why.
Everyone wants safety. Everyone wants safety. And I believe that safety training and scenario training is the bridge, if you will, because the Second Amendment, when you talk about firearms are just a tool. I want to teach someone first how to think, how to avoid confrontation. It's very empowering to learn safety. And that's what I hope for everyone, is to be educated about safety and safety training, safety concepts. And then they're going to find that a firearm is just a tool, like anything else. The cars are very dangerous until you learn how to drive them. And so the firearm is just a tool. And what we find is that people that come here, I want to educate them so they can make educated decisions, and especially legislators about our freedoms. Because what we find a lot is that when legislators speak about a certain topic, you find that, have you had any training with that? Have you ever experienced that? And most of the time they're just talking points. So we want to be the frontline resource for like Diana Muller and the DC Project. We want to be the frontline resource that someone can say, listen, I've got a private facility that you can come and actually learn that safety concept and then apply it.
So Phil, in thinking about the safety thing, you said everybody wants safety, freedom, safety, those things are all tied into each other. Why do you think, based on what you're doing, based on your experiences, so many people don't get it? And how can you help them get it, those who you can't reach?
That's what you guys are here for. We're opening ourselves up and opening our family up, if you will, to other quality people that are going to hopefully get the message out that there is a better way, and there's an evolution when it comes to training about, it's not so much firearms based, because firearms is just a tool. It's more of safety based, built around family and built around that you are your family's own first responder. And there's so much noise out there, there's so much information, but there's not a lot of knowledge. So it's backing into through scenario training about tying into reality and the why, and then using that as our template to move forward, where I want to be my family's own first responder, and I want the option of the freedom to be able to view that any way possible. Now, there's a tremendous amount of responsibility that comes with that. There's a lot of horsepower behind that, right? But so again, that's why with non-lethal options, be nice and still time to not be nice. The training side of it, learning how not to fight, is something that I think really is the empowerment of people who want to, then it makes them want to learn more, and they're just happier. Their resting heart rate.
It's so funny that you should even bring it up because, for example, when it was my turn to run the low light, right? I saw what Shermichael went through, and in my opinion, it was tame. I thought it was gonna escalate a little more, a little quicker. Until you took your time with Shermichael, until you got to the point where he was able to draw. For me, the approach was even more tame, and it was funny because you were just kind of keeping my rested heart rate, and then all of a sudden you just unloaded on me, and I thought it was amazing because at the end of the day, I think that's what people should take advantage of. You want to take advantage of those moments because, like I was telling you, low key, I wanted that confrontation, okay? I wanted to get some hands on, right? But do you really want that? That's when you find out.
Really?
That's when you find out.
Really?
Do you really want this? Is there another option? And then you point out the other options, like, hey, you know what? You didn't have to go through that.
Yeah.
And that's what was eye opening. I got my feels on right there, but then I also got the information I needed in order to make a better decision in the long run. So I mean, listen, man, priceless.
No, it is. Phil, let me ask you this. If you could have a one-on-one conversation right now with President Biden, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and you could explain to them what W.O.F.T is, why personal defense is so important, i.e. the Second Amendment, what would you say?
Oh, that's how much time you got.
And we know you are not playing, Philip. You are not joking.
I would say that it really comes down to education, which I would like them to go through scenario training, safety training. I think it's one of those things where it's hard to have an opinion about something unless you've done it yourself. And it seems like a lot of legislators have opinions about things that they really have no basis and background in. And so that's what we want to do here at W.O.F.T is we want to open it up to legislators so that they can come and actually learn concepts, so they can have an educated opinion about things. I don't feel like they have an educated opinion, and that's what, again, comes back to, there's a lot of patriots like yourselves and like Diana Muller and the DC Project and things that we want to be the front line, that we can't educate the masses, but we can through influencers. Right. So that's one of those things where I just...
Let me play devil's advocate, though. Some on the other side may say, well, what about Switzerland? What about Norway? They don't have guns. They seem to be pretty safe. Why do we need them here? Just to play devil's advocate, what would you say?
I would say that guns are just one tool. And I would say I back up to safety concepts. I back up to, cars are dangerous and you'll learn how to drive them. I back up to statistics that in New York City, for example, in London, more people are killed with knives than in New York City. But yet, in other places around the world, they ban this, they just find something else. Violence is always going to be there, and I like the freedom to be able to protect myself. I am my own family's first responder, and when I'm not around my wife, she needs a force multiplier. And it's one of those things where my biggest fear is not being able to be there to protect my family. And without a force multiplier, that's when nightmares are realized, which is why I don't like to travel places where I can't protect myself against multiple people. And that's what you find in these other countries where they ban this or they ban that, violent crime goes up, because when the bad guys know that you're not armed, or the bad people know that you're not armed, it's empowering, unfortunately, for that. And so I think, again, it comes back to education, it comes back to freedom, and I feel like for here we're batting 1,000, that everyone that comes here and actually comes with an open mind and sees that with safety concepts and they want to be their family's own first responder. If you're not carrying around a security detail with you...
Yeah, which most people aren't. I mean, John, most people aren't. And I mean, I gotta say, John, we've spoken about this a lot of times. We get a lot of messages from a lot of African-American people, firearms. A lot of guys, very nervous. If I ever have to use my gun, I'm nervous that I won't be treated fair. Just legitimate things. I mean, these are things, Phil, I'm gonna be honest, I think about this stuff sometimes. And what I like, John, especially for me, was all of the other steps before I go to the weapon. Yep. I really, you mentioned it, but I really need you to drill in hard on that, Phil. All of those other steps and why they are important, particularly for legal liability. Because when you draw that thing and a round is, you are legally culpable for it wherever those rounds go.
A lot of times if you have a firearm, we talk about if you're a hammer, you're constantly looking for a nail. And the firearm's just a tool. So we really want to introduce other concepts and other things that really should be your first go-to. Paying attention to your area, your surroundings. And people talk about situational awareness, but to really, through scenario training, we really hard focus on what other options do you have? And we back into, hey, could you have done this better? And that's what scenario training is so great, because we practice for things we never want to fail at. Right. This is the place to do that, to introduce those concepts through OODA loop, insert certain things that interrupt the way someone thinks. And then bring out a Simon Says from every once in a while, which you both did very well, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So look, I think this was great, and we've talked about this for a while now. And I think it's important, and that's a part of what we're trying to accomplish through Guns Out, is we believe educating people, particularly those who are new, but also those who are skeptical, is how you broaden the tent. And I think, John, like what you're saying, the family-oriented aspect, the real-life scenario, not everyone's gonna do what we have done in the most recent things, but a lot of people can say, well, yeah, I go to work every day.
Right. Listen,
I
that low light scenario is helpful for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, that car in that room, like I was telling, I forgot who I was talking to up the stairs. Basically, a car in a room with a couple of trash cans and a dummy, and you can make so much happen.
Yeah.
You can learn so much about what could possibly happen. That's real life. That's practical.
No, it is.
I mean,
It
you
is.
can apply that every day. Everybody's gonna go to a parking lot to their car at some point, whether it's highlight, low light, whatever. The scenario applies.
And if you should come to W.O.F.T to get the training for when you're going to that car at night or during the day, you know what to do.
And listen, Guns Out Nation, man, look, you guys are the best. We really, really promote that you check out W.O.F.T.
Yeah.
Check them out on social media, W.O.F.T. Dot after the T. No dot after
So
the
you
T.
got it. Dude, we will be back.
100%.
We will be back, man. Thank you, Philip.
No,
This has been great, bro.
No, thank you.
Now we
Check
got-
them out, W.O.F.T.
Now we're gonna go push him down the moon bounce slide.
Let's go.
Get some.
Hey guys, so if you liked this video, like it, share it, comment, and also make sure you hit that notifications bell to be made aware of new and upcoming episodes.
All that stuff he just said, plus go over to gunsoutTV.com, check out the Guns Out store, and also we have a donate button. So if you want to help us out making new content all across the country, share a little love.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
And make sure you follow us guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay tuned to what we're doing because there's a lot of exciting things that are coming your way and we want to keep you guys up to date.
Also, sign up for our newsletter on our website. We give away stuff sometimes.
We do?
Well, you paying for it.
That's the way it is, guys.
Let's go.
And get some.